Welcome to the Brave Little Podcast. Aaron Alvarado, we are back.
That's me. Oh, it's so good to be back. This is the year of extended vacations for us.
It has been.
Yeah.
It really has been. And to our podcast listeners, especially those on Patreon, don't you worry. This podcast is still going full steam ahead.
We're never going to stop. That's
Nope.
the thing. We are committed. The only thing that can stop us is global warming.
Oh, that's true.
Once the polar ice caps melt, then we're probably going to stop. But other than that, we're going to keep going.
Dude, we're going to keep going as long as there's Wi-Fi, as long as there's Google Hangouts, and as long as there's iTunes.
And as long as there's bad movies starring Tom Cruise.
Ooh, hot take coming in hot on American Made. We should mention that we unfortunately don't have our third member of the tripod here with us, who happened to absolutely adore this Tom Cruise film.
So he's literally the biggest Tom Cruise fan in the world. I think.
He is, and I love Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise so much.
I love him sometimes.
Skylar loves him way more than I do, which is unbelievable.
Well, he defended the sequel. What was that? The sequel that Tom Cruise just did.
Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher. He
He
defended Jack
loves the
Reacher too.
sequel. Yeah, he said it was better than the original. Oh man, it's good to be back. I've been in Utah.
I know.
At
I
work.
can tell just by looking at you.
Oh, I'm wearing my shades.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that has to do with Utah.
Hey,
we
I
opened a new-
heard you had a little incident on a flight recently.
Oh, have we not talked about this in the pod?
No, we have not. You have
Oh
not
my
mentioned this.
gosh. One of my flights. I've been flying back and forth from California to Utah for work at Lucid, I had an incident on a plane. Not a
incident.
David Dow incident. Gosh, I wish.
No.
I'm prepared for that, by the way.
I recently rewatched that video. It's still
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah.
It is still shocking to see it happen. It just doesn't even make sense.
If there's ever a moment when someone comes up and tells me that I need to exit the plane,
Mhm.
I'm gonna get so hyped because the only way I'm getting off that plane is by them dragging me.
Right.
And I know that I'll have at least 30 cameras ready to go. I'm just gonna look around at everyone being like, get your phones out, get ready.
The only
Because we
thing
got to go
more
viral.
Oh yeah, dude, you're gonna be a viral king. The only thing more flabbergasting than that video is the video of Trump doing jump shots with paper towel rolls in Puerto Rico.
So was it you that shared it in our text thread? He just tees up. He lines up like it's a free throw.
Yes.
And at first, to be honest with you, I was deeply offended by this video of him throwing paper towels in there, like this was some sort of T-shirt gun,
Mm-hmm.
like some sort of T-shirt giveaway. But the thing that offended me most was his just horrible shot form. It's a horrible form. He just puts his hands up and just with the paper. I mean, granted, it's a cumbersome cylinder of an object to shoot from,
Yeah.
but
We've all done it. I will say that the funniest video I've seen recently was someone overlaid NBA Jam commentary of him shooting while he's shooting those paper towels.
that's great.
Very funny.
It's also funny that he still has no idea that Puerto Rico is actually an American, like a U.S. territory.
Yeah, well, he recently said that we're gonna have to wipe away their debt, and it caused an uproar.
Yeah.
Which is so that's not gonna happen. He's not wiping away anybody's debt.
No, I don't think so. Oh man, it's back to my airplane story though. We took off in an airplane, Delta. Okay, I can't tell you how many cancellations and delayed flights I've had with them, which is just unbelievable, from Sacramento to Salt Lake. But they took off, dude, and the landing gear couldn't close. And not just the landing gear, but the flaps on the wings and a bunch of other things that's supposed to really slow down. There's a bunch of resistance. But we're a good 20 minutes. We eventually. So what happened was it took off. The plane itself was vibrating and shaking violently and going up and down like crazy. There were people crying, yelling. I mean, we had reached the first, at least official stage of panic, actual panic, not the highest levels, but the lowest level, but definitely registered on like the panic scale.
Where's your head at in that moment? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I don't want to die in Salt Lake City. Um, like this is going to be it's going to be a bit of a mess to transfer back to Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm sitting next to this woman who is a nurse for the Red Cross from Russia, mind you. Currently living in Sacramento, which has a huge Russian population for those that don't know. But she's a nurse for the Red Cross who was coming back from Houston where Hurricane Harvey hit. And, you know, she's sharing stories with me and she starts freaking out.
Right.
And so, you know, I try, honestly, the thing that helped me not focus on the fact that like this plane was shaking and it felt like we were going to crash is I kept asking her questions about her work and I wouldn't stop. And she kept answering and we got in this really long conversation as this is going on. Eventually the pilot comes on and explains what's going on and that we're gonna have to turn around and land. And the pilot, this was like the worst kind of pilot. The pilot reminded me of like the doctor from Silicon Valley. I think that's what, or maybe I'm thinking of Arrested Development, the one that just doesn't know how to like really communicate with people.
Okay.
What he said was, we're gonna explains what's going on. We're gonna turn back around and quote, I'm reasonably confident that we'll be able to make a safe landing. And like that, people just lost it. The crazy part is we went back, we circled around the Salt Lake airport a while. It took like 45 minutes in total. And we finally land. It was pretty bumpy. And they get on, we land. They don't let us deplane or deboard.
Yeah.
We sit there while they have maintenance people run a diagnostic, fix whatever was problem, and then they're gonna take it back out again.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an absolute uproar from everyone on the plane, thinking I do not want to get back out and get back up in the air on this plane.
Right.
Like there's no way it's fixed. And so like the pilot gets back on and is like, it's come to my understanding there's some passengers concerned about the safety of this flight. Let me assure you, it is totally safe. And like, no, I mean, this guy's lost all confidence already. But we ended up it took a couple more hours sitting on the tarmac. We eventually took back off in that flight. Not a super smooth flight the rest of the way. I mean, it was still pretty shaky. Nothing like when we took off with the landing gear down. But like, it was still like a really rickety kind of flight. It was weird. But anyway, needless to say, my most recent trip out there, Southwest. So
smart.
Southwest.
That's a brilliant move. So you had that traumatic event happen. Thankfully, you're okay. I too had a traumatic event recently happen. I sent you guys a picture in the text thread. This happened yesterday. It's 12 o'clock at lunchtime at work. I walked through the refrigerator in the mailroom. I reach in for my lunch, and I notice that it looks a little off. I open up the Tupperware that it's in, and much to my surprise, someone has eaten half of my lunch. Not even the whole thing. They ate half of my lunch and then put it back in.
What did you have for lunch? What was it?
It was a chicken salad with a chicken breast on a salad bed with some Greek dressing on the side.
Okay,
the dressing was all gone.
The Greek dressing is completely gone.
The Greek yogurt dressing was completely gone. The chicken, I had about 6 ounces of chicken. There was only one little piece left. Half of the salad was gone.
Oh my gosh!
And man, this was a completely traumatic event. I pulled it together though, and I ate the rest of it just because I'm not gonna let that go to waste.
No, you can't let it go to waste. No.
And honestly, I ate it out of spite because
you didn't.
I was angry. I wasn't gonna let them win.
So this really blows me away for a lot of reasons. But let's back up a little bit. Was this a store bought? Like, is it possible this is like someone picking up the wrong bag at baggage claim because Samsonite has a bunch of the same bags?
It is possible, and I'll tell you why. So we use those meal prep Tupperwares. So it's like a black bottom with a clear top. It's very similar to a million other Tupperware devices. So when it's in that refrigerator, and I've noticed that I've seen in that refrigerator before that someone uses a similar one. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing, honestly, what happened is someone just grabbed it, they started eating it, and then they realized, oh crap, this is not mine. I'm gonna go put it
So
back in.
so the Tupperware could have been the same, but the food was not.
Food was absolutely not anyone else's
Oh
except for
gosh,
mine.
isn't that you can't, don't you just lift the top and immediately realize like this Greek dressing and this chicken salad is definitely not mine.
I think they did, and they just didn't care. They wanted to eat it because it was
It's just
good.
amazing to me that someone would be so brazen to be like, this food is definitely not mine, and I'm consuming it, not all of it, but half of it, so I can leave just enough to be an FU to
Oh yeah.
the actual owner.
You know, had they taken the entire Tupperware out of there and just threw it away or whatever they did, I wouldn't even realize. I probably would have thought that I threw it away or left it at home or something.
They forgot it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it's-
insult to
it's-
injury, they put half of it back, and
Yeah, no,
I wasn't
no,
gonna let it
no,
go
no.
to waste. I was not.
The
gonna
only
let it-
eating half of it is a clear FU. It means that this was malicious. This
Oh, yeah.
wasn't an accident.
This was vindictive.
This
And
is
if
vindictive.
if I have to be honest, this was kind of a pay it forward moment, a moment of reckoning for me. Back in let's see, probably 2006 or 7 or so, I may have eaten a coworker's lunch before.
Oh,
So I think that this is coming back to bite me.
they plotted for a long time.
Yes, this was at a different company though.
Oh,
But-
okay.
But
so
still,
not
that
possible.
bad karma does not go
Well,
away.
Okay, if I give this person the extreme benefit of the doubt, and like I'm imagining myself, if I'm halfway through a meal that I realize isn't mine, which already we're in a place that's like really fantastical,
Mhm.
but if I'm halfway through a meal I realize isn't mine, I feel like a deep sense of like, oh man, this is so messed up. And if I felt like I'm not gonna eat the rest of this because it feels weird,
Right.
and I've already eaten half it, I would put at least a post-it note that's like, I am so sorry. I thought this was mine. Here's my number. Here's my name. Like, hey, it's so and so. I don't know who this is, but like lunch on me. Or here's $5. Like, I would have posted $5 to it, right? Like,
Right.
the fact that they just even in the most like forgiving of circumstances,
Mhm.
and this was a mistake, they just put it back with no. They basically keyed your car. They hit your car with their door and didn't leave a note.
They sure did. And so I've been looking in the refrigerator, thinking that maybe they leave something for me later. It's kind of a payback, but
Yeah.
nothing so far.
Can I tell you a story about paying it forward?
Yes, please do.
A great Kevin Spacey, Haley Joel Osment, and Helen Hunt film. So when I was just in Utah, I rolled up to McDonald's. This is right after seeing American Made, by the way, which we will get to.
Yeah.
For all you Tom Cruise fans out there. I have a hankering for an Egg McMuffin now that McDonald's sells breakfast all day long, which is such a terrific thing. It's probably about 9:30 p.m. I get in the drive-thru. I order Egg McMuffin, medium fry, and water. I'm trying to consume less soda.
Hmm.
Not doing a great job at that, but I'm trying. And I get up to the pay the window, and the woman's like, you know what? The car in front of you paid for your order. I was like, oh,
Awesome.
wait. I was like, why? Did they say why? And she's like, no, it was just an old lady who wanted to tell you to have a fantastic evening.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, awesome. And I was like, how much is the order behind me? She's like, $6. I was like, let me get it.
Wow.
Let me just send it for it. So I pay $6 is about what mine would have cost anyway. I thought, okay, I give it that person. And I'm curious to see if the dude behind me keeps going or just,
Yeah.
or understandably, I wouldn't judge him if he just took the free meal.
I would.
I almost did. He took the free meal, by the way.
Yes. Good.
He did not continue to pay. But I get up to the window and they're like, which order are you? And I was like, oh, it's the Egg McMuffin, medium French fry, water. Like, okay, perfect. And they proceed to hand me what I come to find out later is a Sprite, a Big Mac, and a French fry. And I don't even check like an idiot until I get back to my hotel and I open up a Big Mac, a fry, and a freaking Sprite. It tastes like Diet Sprite.
Oh
I was like,
no.
I'm never doing this again.
You got burned, dude.
I'm never doing this again. Although when I grabbed my food and I was picking it up, the dude behind me, it's just a single guy in a truck. He does yell out really loud, "Thank you!"
Wow. Very good.
So it was pretty cool that he did that. But I feel bad that I robbed the old lady of me. Of like, actually, I should have just let her pay for my food and not paid it forward. And maybe I would have gotten the right meal because
Yeah.
not only did I pay for the dude behind me, but I got his food too. So
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't hunt you down.
Well, what's
to
great
throw a
about it
Big
is
McMuffin in your
he
face.
didn't want any sauce on his Big Mac.
Ooh.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah, it was
Why even
not good.
bother?
I regret everything about paying for that guy's meal.
You screwed up royally. Oh, I have to clarify. When I say that I ate someone else's lunch, this is
Yeah.
at a time when I was completely broke. So I had like no money. I mean, I'm talking I had $2 in my bank account.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's why I ate somebody else's lunch. I was literally starving. So
Okay.
it was a bad time for me. But
Wow.
but never forget, the karma will follow you. So don't eat anybody else's lunch.
No, karma. Yeah. I don't think you believe in karma, do you?
It's real. Karma is so real.
It's gotta be. I got another story for you.
Let's hear it.
I had to just fill out a mound of paperwork today to report my passport is lost.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, in our move to California, I can't find my passport.
Mm.
Yeah, so I have to. There's two sets of paperwork. I have to submit a bunch of stuff saying that it's lost and where it could potentially be, just so no one picks it up and tries to use it, as me. And then in conjunction with that, file for a new one, which they make just infinitely more difficult if you had lost yours rather than just renewing, right? The reason why I'm doing this though, my wife's birthday is this next week,
Yes,
and I
it
just
is.
surprised her with her birthday gift. We're going to Tokyo.
Yes.
In December.
Wow.
Yes. And I was trying to think of what's like the most iconic films or things like films that take place in Tokyo.
You talking about modern film?
Yes.
It's
So, is it Lost in Translation?
Lost in Translation. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, and Jiro Dreams of Sushi. That's a good one.
And yeah, Hero Dreams of Sushi.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Such a good documentary.
It's fascinating. It's really good.
Yeah. It's very expensive to go there. I don't think it's going to be my budget to eat there. I also don't think I would even be able to get a seat at this point.
Well, you
It's
could
like
go to the
6
other
months.
one that his what was it? His
His less talented son or
yes, exactly. The black sheep of the family.
whatever.
That one's actually a drive-through. Anyone can go there.
oh, Hero Dreams of drive-through sushi.
7-Eleven sushi.
Oh man. Well, dude, I'm excited. Well, no, hold up. Before we get into American Made, one last thing. You, me, and Skylar, we all have some serious skin in the game when it comes to rookies this coming year. You've got Lonzo Ball. I've got De'Aaron Fox, who has been playing like a fox, by the way. I don't know if you caught that first preseason game, but he put up some numbers. And then we've got Dennis Smith Jr., who was picked, 8th or 9th for
I think
a
it was
reason?
9th.
Yeah. Anyway, Skylar has been talking a tremendous amount of crap, primarily based on the fact that Dennis Smith Jr. had a couple of really good games in Vegas, which, trust me, as a Kings fan, I know what it's like to fall for good games in Vegas by rookies.
Yeah.
And he is convinced Dennis Smith Jr. is winning Rookie of the Year. Tell me why he's wrong.
Honestly, I think it's a two-man race. So Dennis Smith Jr. and Lonzo Ball, those guys are going to be head-to-head for the
No,
entire
they're
NBA
not.
season. And De'Aaron Fox is going to be well behind them. It's going to be those two guys. De'Aaron Fox will probably end up in the top 5.
I won't, so the thing about De'Aaron is he already has George Hill ahead of him on the depth chart. And Dave Yeager doesn't love playing rookies, starting rookies. He wants people to earn their minutes. And so that already puts him as a disadvantage to Dennis Smith Jr. and Lonzo Ball, who will both be starting coming
Yes, they
season,
will.
right? And so there's that. But like in terms of just straight up player ability, like if I'm a GM, I'm taking De'Aaron Fox over both of those guys. Honestly, I would have taken De'Aaron Fox the number 1 pick. So
from what I've seen of him, De'Aaron Fox is probably the most polished of the 3. But I
He's-
truly believe that he has the lower ceiling of all 3.
I see. I disagree with that. I don't think he's that polished. He is freakishly athletic,
Of the
way
three-
more than
of the 3. He's the most polished.
of the 3.
Yes, I will say Dennis Smith has the most offensive skills of the 3. Who knows what he can do on defense? I don't even think he's going to try.
Lonzo has the court vision, but not the Not the defense of the shot, but yeah.
No, but Lonzo has the body and the effort to help on defense.
And the father.
Oh, best father in the world.
Best father. He really is. Fall in the Family is my new favorite show.
Homeschooling his high school kid.
Yes, he
Very
took him
smart.
out. Took him out the kids.
Well, it worked for Bryce Harper. So
Yeah, no, it did. Gosh, Bryce Harper. How are the Dodgers doing, by the way, in the playoffs?
playoffs start on Friday.
Ah, Friday. It's the wild card right now, huh?
Yeah, it's a wild card. Oh, well, we just found out that the Yankees won and the
Yep.
D-backs won.
The D-backs just won tonight.
So yeah, D-backs.
Aaron Judge.
Whew, that dude's amazing.
Yeah. How do the Yankees do that? It just drives me crazy.
I don't know. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it
you know,
is.
it's funny. I was looking up Judge's minor league numbers just because I figured he must have been a monster in the minor leagues. He only hit like 27 career minor league home runs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's because he's 100% juicing. It's ridiculous. You don't go from hitting 27 career minor league home runs to having the season you just had without a little extra help.
I just like to think that once the pressure of the big league lights hit him, he was really inspired.
Oh, it could be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. He could be. It could be the fact because he's a God-fearing man.
He's also like a 26-year-old rookie, by the way.
Oh yeah.
He's not a young kid. He's an
No,
older-
he's not a
an
young
older
kid. Yeah, he's
prospect.
pretty old. He looks pretty old too.
Well, yeah.
Like kind of.
Remember Greg Oden?
Oh yeah.
He looked like
Yeah.
35, and he was.
I was gonna say he came in looking like a 45-year-old man. Like he came in, he looked like he's ready to coach. So back to basketball though, do you really think? Do you believe that the Lakers are going to have a higher win total than the Kings and the Nets?
No, I think they're really all three of the teams are going to be within 5 wins of each other.
I think so.
It's
I
going
think
to be
so.
a really, really tough year for all.
It's
these
a
teams.
yeah, it's a unique thing because of the Western Conference now being stacked.
Mhm.
Although, don't get me started on how much I don't believe in Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook coexisting. I mean, I just can't think of a worse situation.
You know, it's funny, all this Carmelo hype. What year is this? Is this 2005? I mean,
It's like there was a joke about some reporter asking him about like possibly coming off the bench, and everyone was like, "It's Carmelo, he's starting." It's like, well, why should he be starting?
yeah, there's no guarantee.
What?
There's no guarantee that he should be starting.
No. Whenever Westbrook needs to sit and get some rest, that's when you put Carmelo in. I just don't see those two dudes loving playing together. And I'm throwing Paul George, which is just an anomaly, the fact that they have him for a 1-year rental until he goes to your freaking team, which we all know is going to happen.
Well, yeah, he's coming to Lakers along with LeBron. So
Well, yeah, you're not getting. Look, you guys were hanging your hat on the Russell Westbrook thing for a while until he signed his extension. But like, I still have a hard time. I believe LeBron's leaving Cleveland. I have a hard time thinking he's going to the Lakers.
where else is he going to go? Like, think about it logically.
Well, the Clippers.
No.
Why wouldn't he go to the
Because
Clippers?
the Clippers are not a prestige team like the Lakers brand. LeBron is all
Oh,
about
because
brand.
Cleveland was the prestige team.
Well, for him it is. It plays into his brand.
Well,
He's the most brand conscious player in the history of the NBA. the
more
Lakers
than
are-
Dwight.
No. Well, LeBron actually has a desirable brand as opposed to Dwight. But yeah, it makes sense that he comes to Lakers. So
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. I've accepted it already.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I just can't for a personal brand. I just it's all bad in my mind. It's like go to the Lakers so they can win a championship because they're a team that's they won the second most championships in the league.
Let's get this straight. We're not going to win a championship with LeBron, but it'll be exciting.
Well, you won't get past the Warriors. I guess that's true.
No, there's no way.
But
As much as I
you'll
hate
get
the
to
Warriors, they're still
I
the best
guess
team.
you'll get to the Western Conference Finals a year or two. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you get 2 or 3 years of prime LeBron because he's still in his prime.
Okay.
And you got him playing with ball, and I think you developed the ball kid.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm prepared to make an NBA analogy right now to movies.
Let's hear it.
I feel like Tom Cruise is at his LeBron James portion of his career, where he's got a couple years left. I feel like this movie, American Made, is like the current Los Angeles Lakers, and then Tom Cruise got involved as LeBron James.
That's pretty good. I think it's closer to Kobe Bryant or Steve Nash in his final year.
Steve
Steve
Nash.
Nash on the Lakers.
No, so let's talk American Made. This is a movie we've been excited to see.
Oh yeah,
Anything that involves Pablo Escobar, which spoiler alert has a minor role in this film, very very minor.
yeah. Anytime Pablo is in something, anytime Ronald Reagan in clip footage is going to take the L, I'm in, and he takes the L in this movie.
It does make Reagan look a fool. It does make Reagan look a fool. But let me throw this past you. I'm really curious to hear. We talked about Skylar. Absolutely, he called this film. No, I'm not kidding here. Quote, great.
Mm-hmm.
He called this a great film. This to me was a ho hum film, made interesting and I would say quite good with Tom Cruise because of Tom Cruise, and Sarah Wright, who plays his wife. And a little bit splashing a little bit of Donal. A little bit of Donal. It was just a good pinch of Donal.
Yeah.
Without those three people, just from a narrative structure of this film, I would be underwhelmed.
Yeah, it's extremely conventional, and you're right. And I think with those three performances, it turns it into something that's very entertaining. To be quite honest, it's not a great film, but it's entertaining. It's something that you can watch. It feels like every bit of 2 hours, though.
It's long.
It's pretty long. It's a pretty long movie.
Yeah.
And the story is pretty conventional. Like I said, the narrative is very conventional, and you see it coming from a mile away. Obviously, you know that this guy's not going to get away.
No.
But I love the story for what it is. The way that it plays out is really fun. It's exciting to go on his adventures. It's exciting to see how he pulls off the things that he claims that he did. And I think that's like the bigger point to me is like, what of this is real? How much of the story is real? How much of it is fake? How much of it was in his head?
From what I can tell, what I can gather, a shocking amount of it is real.
I think it is too. I think a lot of it is real, and it's if 90% of the story is real, then it's one of the greatest stories of all time. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It is pretty incredible.
The characters that he runs into, the things that he was able to accomplish with the backing of the U.S. government, this is pretty wild. The people that he runs into on a daily basis, running his drugs from America to Central America, the United States from Central America, it's crazy, man. It's a great story.
Barry Seal himself in real life seemed like a fairly unremarkable guy. And I think that's what's like he was going from Noriega in Nicaragua to, in the Sandinistas to the Medellin cartel in Colombia. Like the circles that dude was running in addition to the CIA, when he was just a commercial airline pilot that had like a little bit of a knack for wanted to be a little bit on edge like that. I mean, the guy that had just a little bit of loose morals, which I will say is one thing I did actually like quite a bit about this movie, is that there was no moment where he felt like he didn't have his come to Jesus moment or this moment where he realized like what he was doing was wrong.
No.
And that he made good, and that there was this moral to it. Like, no, the guy just did it all the way to the end.
Right, and you find out that his downfall was something really stupid. I mean, we don't have to say what it is, but it's really dumb. How it basically all comes apart.
Really dumb.
Yeah, one of the reoccurring themes that we've seen in other stories, especially involving the Medellin cartel, is that there's actually too much cash on hand.
Yeah.
He runs out of places to put it. He loses some of it. It's so fascinating that you can have so much money. At that point, it's like, what are you doing this for? You have so much money that you'll never be able to spend it.
So why do you keep doing it?
Yeah, why do you keep doing it? And I think it's because he just loved the adventure of it. So he kind of like got addicted to the power and
to the adrenaline.
And to see that if he could do what he said that he could do. They called him, the white man that always delivers, or whatever his nickname was.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some really fun scenes in this movie. When he first meets the Sandinistas and they pull him out of his plane and they strip him down, basically.
They take him his boots.
It's so funny. Some really funny scenes. I think that if you didn't have Tom Cruise playing this lead role, the movie could have been so much more boring.
he would have been mediocre. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think Tom Cruise came in and took a mediocre script and made it very good and very entertaining.
yeah,
Like, I quite like this film. I wouldn't call it great, but it's a good example of the power of Tom Cruise, which is a remarkable thing because I think there's several films we can point to being like, oh yeah, Tom Cruise lifted that film from mediocre to good or very good. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work. The Mummy, earlier this year, is case in point. He was not able to save that film. In fact, he may have made it worse. I don't know. It was just a steaming pile of a movie. But this is the type of thing where like the energy of Tom Cruise, and I love the fact that if you look at Barry Seal and his wife online, and we've talked about this extensively with Skylar, I mean, they couldn't look more different than Tom Cruise and Sarah Wright, and just nothing like these people. But it doesn't matter. It's just like the essence of what this guy was about. You got Tom Cruise, who's a bit of an adrenaline junkie himself, and it made for a really, really interesting, story. And I'm grateful that Tom Cruise is willing to like kind of take these types of roles that he knows hinge on his performance, like really the success of the film, which this one definitely did.
yeah.
I will. Well, speaking of performances, we saw a side role by I don't know the actor's name, but this is the second film I've seen him in this year. He was the brother in Get Out, and he was the brother here. He's becoming the best like weird brother.
Oh yeah.
And again, I don't know. He looks like a very, very poor man's Macaulay Culkin. But like dude, that kid nails the kind of like druggy kind of addict brother that like as soon as you look at him, there's just this level of distrust. And it's not even the way he's dressed or the way he's acting, just his face. I look at it, I was like, I don't trust that man.
Yeah, no, he nailed that. It was a great bit of casting in that role.
JB.
Yeah, yeah. That's the other thing. So the movie is kind of split into, really, it's the personal life versus the professional life of Tom Cruise's character, and at times his personal life is more hectic than his professional life, where he's delivering drugs and running guns.
Yeah.
Which I think also makes for an interesting movie because typically in a movie like this, you would think that his wife is just a side character where she's just in the background, but she's pretty involved.
Yeah.
She's very involved, especially in, basically half the movie, really. She grounds him and she raises his family and she goes along for the ride.
Yeah. I don't know if complicit's the right word, but she's definitely down for whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
And even from the scenes where they'd be sitting out waving at him as he goes out on his next, flight or whatever it might be, there wasn't a moral to this film, a moral message they were trying to tell. There was no redeeming moment for this character. There was no turnaround. But one thing I felt like it made clear was that he was there to provide for his family. Like he had this need to provide. And like there was this montage where he's asking Donald Gleason's character for, I'm going to need more money. It was right after like his wife had another kid, and he's like, we're going to have to figure out more money. Like, he's clearly like planning for providing, and then you can tell he has this drive to provide, which was only maybe part of his motivation in terms of going. Obviously, the adrenaline, the wanting to get away with it, all that stuff. But like he oftentimes, at least in the film, when he was purchasing things, he was purchasing things for other people, like the car, like the super nice car. I mean, he bought it for his wife.
Right.
Of course, he was buying stuff for himself as well. But like, he's buying stuff for the town. Right. Like he was wanting. But to your point earlier, he also had more money than he knew what to do with.
Yeah, exactly. So he was just overwhelmed. I thought if there's one thing that I can really criticize was Jesse Plemons plays the sheriff, and I wanted more of him.
Okay, I was just going to ask you that. Was this a criminal underuse of Jesse Plemons?
Yeah.
It's one of the questions I had for you.
Yeah, he basically has one scene. He has one good scene.
One scene. and it's one of those things where you see Jesse Plemons, you're like, oh, okay, so this is going to be a dynamic in the film because there's no way they're just going to show Jesse Plemons for one scene.
Right.
And that's really, I think it's maybe two scenes, but it's like two.
You're right, it is.
One like actual scene and a setup that he's the, and it's just like, can Jesse Plemons not get better roles in this, or did he do this as a favor for Tom Cruise?
It's disappointing because I think Jesse Plemons is a great actor.
He's awesome.
He has great versatility. I'm wondering though, is he like are we just getting chubby Jesse Plemons forever? Is that just what he is now?
Because
He's
it
like the
looks
overweight guy.
from Fargo season 2.
Yeah, it's what he
Yeah,
looks. It's like that is.
he looked
That's
like
his
the
permanent
character
look
from
now.
Fargo season. I know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna go the way of Jonah Hill or not.
Well, I think. Well, the thing is, it limits him. Unfortunately, Hollywood has very specific visual standards for their leading men
Yeah.
and their leading women, obviously. And there aren't very many roles for an overweight leading man. So Jesse's got to trim up, unfortunately.
What's really sad is Jesse auditioned for a role in The Force Awakens.
Did he really? What was the role?
Yeah, I don't know.
They didn't say.
They didn't say, and it was pretty early on. It was around the time that there was the same rumor that Saoirse Ronan was auditioning for a role that I presume to be Rey, and which is interesting because I think she would have been pretty good. I think Daisy Ridley's great, so no issues there. But Jesse Plemons, it must have been for Kylo Ren.
It had to be, right?
It had to. I mean, there's no other. I mean, unless Finn, unless they were considering for Finn, but.
Oh, what
it's
about what about the other guy? What's his name? The pilot.
Oh yeah, Poe.
Poe. I'm
It could have been.
gonna say he was auditioning for Poe.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been. But I kind of want him in Star Wars. I hope they find him in a standalone somewhere.
He's great. I think he's a great actor. I love Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
I loved his little turn in Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
He was so good in
Todd.
that. Yeah, Todd. Like you said, Fargo season 2, he was great in that.
Yeah.
So I think he's got a long career ahead of him. I just like to see him get some more juicy roles. So he was wasted in this.
Oh, 100% agree. Well, where do you rank this film then on the 100 point Rotten Tomatoes scale? What percentage are you giving it?
This movie for me is a solid 75.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm putting it at 80.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so not too far off. Skylar, I think we can go ahead and speak for him. He put this at a 97.
I was gonna say 97 exactly. From the effusive praise that he had for it, this is definitely a
He kept going on about how great he was saying stuff like the average moviegoer just didn't get as much out of it as I did. And he was talking about how personal it was to him. I was like, dude, have you run guns? Have you run drugs out of Colombia? Maybe there's things you don't know about Skylar.
At the end of the day, this movie delivered on what I had hoped for. So
yeah.
I gotta give it a high 70s, 75.
Yeah, it delivered on a heck of a good time. A great popcorn flick.
Mm-hmm.
Have some fun with Tom Cruise doing some drug and gun running, and that's what you're gonna get. It's not gonna be a super compelling narrative, not a compelling character study, I would say, but just a fun adrenaline ride.
Yeah.
That I think captures the essence of this Barry Seals personality.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was quite good.
I love the I especially love this stuff after he started working for the White House. He meets with Oliver North, has a run-in with a certain future president.
Oh yeah,
won't spoil that one, but
that's great.
Yeah, that's great. So there's some little fun little nods in the movie. What'd you think of the directing?
So it's interesting. This is Doug Liman,
right,
who did Born Identity.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Liman did Swingers, didn't he?
He sure did. Yep.
And most recently with Tom Cruise, it was Edge of Tomorrow.
Right.
It's hard for me to know how much involved he was in the cinematography because I actually liked the cinematography quite a bit. Namely the scenes where they're flying. I felt like we got like a good view of what it was in these like limited runways, what it was like to be Tom Cruise's character. What it was like to be Barry Seal, trying to land and trying to take off. And so in some of that, I thought it was interesting. But overall, like, it was serviceable directing. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Doug Liman's best work. What did you think?
No, I didn't think it was his best work either. It could have used some tightening, especially in some of the story details. This is why I felt like it dragged. Of course, that's editing and more than necessarily directing, but they go hand in hand in storytelling.
They sure do.
So I think he did a fine job. It wasn't anything spectacular. But I do like the story that he presented, so I'll give him high marks for that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I say this all the time, but I think most movies could be 30 minutes shorter. There's probably quite a bit in these montages too that they could have trimmed a bit. Yeah, I'm sure there is. Now, there's another film coming out this week, and one I'm seeing tomorrow night. I don't know if you got plans this weekend, but Denis Villeneuve has a new film coming out.
Yes, I've heard a little bit about it. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Seattle, so I won't be able to
You're in Seattle?
Yeah,
what are you doing in Seattle?
We're visiting friends in Seattle on Friday, so.
Oh, really?
I'll be away all weekend.
You been to Seattle before?
Yeah, I love it. I love Seattle. Washington's a beautiful state. And,
yeah, it's really beautiful.
I hope to move there someday.
Really?
No, not really. But
okay.
it would probably be fun.
Okay, so you're not seeing it this weekend?
I might, if I get up early enough, I might watch it on Friday morning, because I'm taking the day off. Our flight isn't until about 4 or so.
Okay.
So if I have some time Friday morning, I'll check it out. But I might have to work, so we'll see.
Okay. Well, you got Movie Pass now, which has that been working? Has that been working well for you?
Dude. Movie Pass is amazing.
It's incredible.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the service. And I am going to be a lifetime member as long as they keep it at $9.99.
Yes. Oh man, I've been seeing movies left and right. I almost saw the Ben Stiller film Brad's Status. That's how much.
Right. It's a good thing that you bring that up, because now that I have Movie Pass, I consider watching these movies that I would never watch before in the theater.
No, it's great. I watched Battle of the Sexes with Emma Stone and Steve Carell.
Would you recommend it?
No, it's not good, but I'm grateful I saw it because it felt like I saw it for free. It's not particularly good.
That's disappointing to me because, when I saw the trailer, it did pique my interest a little bit. So it's kind of a bummer that it sucked.
It's okay. It's honestly, I would say it peaks for me as being a decent airplane movie.
Okay.
Like if you're on a flight and there's Battle of Sexes, flip it on. I think you'll get some value out of it. I would never tell people to rush to the theaters to see it.
If you're on
a
flight with working landing gear.
Well, yeah, ideally, because you got to get high enough altitude for the TV monitors to turn on.
Right.
You can't do that with a landing gear that won't go up. But Steve Carell, I'm really liking him more and more in dramatic roles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this wasn't his best by any stretch. He was pretty good. Emma Stone was a bit of a misfire on this. I think it's hard for certain actors and actresses to do like the biopic if they really can't escape Emma Stone has a very distinct way of talking. I don't want to call it specifically the lisp, but she has kind of like this way of talking that you really can't change. And she isn't Billie Jean King. She's just not. There's nothing about her. She wears glasses to look more like her and does her hair different. But other than that, it's just Emma Stone talking. And it's really hard. And I think Emma Stone's a great actress. Not all great actors and actresses can do the biopic and become someone else. She's not a character actor, is what I'm getting at. And so I think that was a misfire of a cast. I could see why her agents try to persuade her to do that post, her first big role post winning an Oscar. It just wasn't great. But the story itself was also one that, on paper, I think I would like. I think
for sure.
The trailers looked interesting. But man, I was so bored to death. Honestly, I was really bored. So watching on an airplane, you might enjoy it. It's not like a terrible film, but I just have a hard time recommending it. 2 stars.
Oh, that's terrible. Out of 10, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm on 10-star scale. Yeah.
Oh, we also watched Mother.
Oh my gosh.
Should we do I think we should do a full episode on Mother.
That's right, Mother. One of the few F cinema score films out there. Now, I think you liked Mother a lot more than I did.
Yes.
But I feel like it wasn't until the third act that really sealed it for you.
That's true. I can say flat out that I hated the first 2 acts of Mother. It was so boring. I was literally texting you guys in the theater.
You were throughout the film. Yeah.
Because I couldn't believe what I was watching. But by
It's
the third
really
act,
slow.
it's super slow. It's very dry, super slow,
And really weird.
extremely odd. It's an unconventional narrative. The structure is weird. Yeah, so I liked it though.
Deserve a whole episode? That's the thing. We didn't even talk about this.
I think if we can get Skyler to watch it, then yeah, I think
Skyler won't watch it though because he just had a baby.
Yeah.
That's not the reason why I won't go to the theater, but because there's baby stuff in the movie.
We should tell him to leave when there's like 10 minutes left.
Yeah, just walk out when there's 10 minutes left. I kind of liked what Aronofsky was doing from an allegory perspective. I hope this hits. I'm hoping that this will hit someone's top 10 and we can talk about it. It probably won't be in mine. And I liked it. I actually did like it, but it's just hard because the first two acts are so boring. It's just wasn't super interesting, but the allegory and the way Aronofsky's committed to seeing this allegory through to its completion.
I mean,
through its chaotic completion.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it was a bit heavy-handed with the allegory.
It got that way. Now, what's funny is I've been reading some critics say this, and I think I agree. But like, I've liked it, the movie, more and more the longer it's been, and the more I've thought about it, and the like further away I am from it, rather than being in the moment, because it does feel, especially in that third act, real heavy-handed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I told you guys, I think that J Law deserves an Oscar nom for this.
You really think so?
I think so. Her performance from start to finish is Oscar caliber.
She definitely outshines Javier and I was gonna say Ed Helms.
Yeah, Ed Helms.
Ed Harris.
I wish Ed Helms was in it. It would have been a better movie. How off-putting was the Ed Harris coughing fits?
Dude, it was disgusting. Especially huddled over the toilet, and he's got like a gash in his side, and Javier's like telling her to go away. Yeah. But yeah, I do think this is probably, honestly, I think this is J-Law's best performance. Way better than, I would even say, Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, some of the other ones that she's been nominated for, Winter's Bone. Because because of the allegory, because of what Aronofsky's trying to do, and the fact that her own like significant other is directing her, which can't be an easy thing. She pulls off this like really understated yet focused performance.
Exactly. This is what I like about it.
That I think makes it her best work. Yeah, I mean, she definitely outshines Javier and Ed. There's no doubt about that.
You mean one note Bardem?
One note was seriously.
I mean, he only knew one monotonous delivery,
just
one style.
Demanding poet or writer, whatever it was.
the tortured artist.
Tortured writer.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What it's just an extremely odd, strange movie.
Yeah. Yes, from beginning to end. Now, you had missed the first maybe about 5 minutes, which I recorded entirely on my iPhone and sent you. By the way, the opening up to what you missed, pretty unremarkable.
Yeah, I got to the theater late because of MoviePass, so I take back all the praise that I have for MoviePass.
Was it faulty?
No, it wasn't. It was my fault. It's funny. I went to the nearest theater thinking that no one was going to be there, and I go to I check in with MoviePass, and I go to pick my seat, and it's sold out.
Oh,
I couldn't believe it, so I had to find a theater a couple miles away that was playing. So I missed the first 5 minutes. But
sold out.
Mother on a Thursday was sold
out. Oh my gosh! I saw a few days after you, and there were two other people they had moved it to the small theater, which is like a little bit bigger than my living room TV.
Yeah. And
there was one other couple in there who was laughing hysterically throughout the film. What? They just weren't taking it seriously.
Okay.
Until the third act, the laughing actually stopped.
Good.
Yeah, because they were horrified. They were actually just mortified.
It's super twisted. It's very dark.
Yeah.
It's disturbing. It's a disturbing movie.
It's a disturbing third act for sure.
Yeah. But I liked it. Ultimately, I'll say I like it, and I would recommend it. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We also did a pod on It, which I'm assuming I'll post before I post this. If I post, I'll probably post these at the same time.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think anyone cares about it anymore. I feel like it just came and went, and it's just so disposable that no one's even talking about it anymore.
Really, honestly, it is ultimately very disposable. Except it's shattering box office records.
Huge, huge,
Absolutely shattering.
And if we can recall, I think that we all predicted that it would. I think that was literally a prediction on our podcast.
Oh, it absolutely
when
was.
When the thing first dropped, we talked about how it was going to do giant numbers. So
it would. I didn't expect it would do quite what it's done, though. I mean, these are enormous box office numbers for a horror film. That's like pretty good, but not great. It's like not even pretty good. It's just kind of good in parts.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is the one thing that everyone keeps praising, the kids' performances. I keep thinking like, this greenlit sequel, which of course they couldn't greenlight fast enough. I'm thinking, well, what are they going to do if it's the adults, right? They have the same problem in the original made-for-TV It, where just one of the kids is so much better, infinitely better than one of the adults. What are they going to do? And I read, I should have realized, of course, Hollywood was going to find a way. They're going to rely in the sequel. They're going to rely quite heavily on flashbacks that will involve the children.
Of course, that's brilliant.
It's brilliant, but also just a terrible narrative device.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see them use the aging software on the kids.
On the kids. Even if they're 4'8", like age them, just age them.
Yeah, use that aging, the visual effects. That would be great.
CGI Jessica Chastain over that girl's face. Oh my gosh! Wow.
Screw it. No one cares about it.
Are you excited for Blade Runner?
Yes, I am actually. I've heard. I read a quick review about it, and people, everything that I've seen so far is lots of praise, and they're saying I will not be disappointed.
It's not certified yet, but it's in the 90%. Last I looked, it was 95% Rotten Tomatoes. Now, granted, not certified. But if I'm gonna pull it now to see if it has since certified, or at least how many reviews we have on it. But when I looked earlier, it was at 95. Oh, yep, it's certified now at 94.
That's
with
incredible.
105 reviews reporting 94%, with the consensus little synopsis saying, visually stunning and narratively satisfying, Blade Runner 2049 deepens and expands its predecessor's story while standing as an impressive filmmaking achievement in its own right. Which, it's Denis Villeneuve. Even if I think Arrival was not quite as good as everyone else thought, dude, Denis Villeneuve's batting average is very good.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's super hot and very dependable, and I guess he's considered a visionary, so perfect matching for this, and it'll be exciting to check that one out.
Well, I'm excited to do it. We'll have to do that pod when you get back from Seattle.
Yes, let's do it.
But let's do it when you're back in Seattle, but before I leave for Tokyo. So
perfect. Can we do a Tokyo pod?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna bring my microphone.
Yes, good.
We'll review Lost in Translations.
Why don't you just? Yeah, that's perfect. Why don't you just find a Best Buy in Tokyo, buy a microphone from there, and then return it before you leave?
Oh, okay. Like the one that I returned in Utah.
But you didn't return it?
No. I'm lazy. I'm still within the 2 weeks though.
Yeah, you have to.
Or am I? Oh, actually, I don't think I am. You know what I want to do is from Japan. Let's do a review of Akira Kurosawa's filmography.
Oh, the entire thing. Let's do it.
The entire thing, or let's grab some of his best work and just do it.
Have you seen a lot of Kurosawa?
I saw does Magnificent Seven count?
Kinda. So yeah, it's close enough.
I've seen Seven Samurai at one point.
Yeah, I was on a Kurosawa kick for a while, a long time ago. So I've seen probably 7 of his movies. They're all incredible. I mean, they're
yeah. I wish there was some museum or something I could go to. But anyway, can
you visit the Hiroshima?
Oh, I could. I couldn't make my way to Nagasaki.
Can you bring a giant American flag with you?
Oh yeah, I could do that. I mean, we're not too far from Iwo Jima to go.
Oh,
lift.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Just plant another one there.
I'll plant it and then just get on one knee.
Because and that means you're disrespecting it. So
Yeah, that's right. No, that's automatic.
yeah,
It's,
do it in your Kaepernick jersey.
Mike, are you saying wearing my Kaepernick?
Yeah, wear your Kaepernick and then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
the only
Favorite
way.
NFL. Oh, he's my favorite Niner QB of all time.
Would you get in trouble if you wore Kaepernick jersey with blackface
Would in Japan or in America?
in Japan?
No, I wouldn't.
I feel like they encourage that sort of thing there.
I feel like they might. Well, I was gonna say something. I'm glad I didn't. Woo!
It's probably better if you don't.
Just avoided a bombshell there. All right. Well, I think we're about an hour.
Right.
But people, if you want a good time at the movies, not only get Movie Pass, but use Movie Pass on seeing American Made.
It's a good one. You'll have fun.
It's entertaining. Yes, absolutely. So, you got anything else, Aaron?
Nope, that'll do it.
All right. Thanks, my man. And as we say,
Hold on to your butts.
butts.